talk about movement and what I do for a living. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. First of all, I'm a chiropractor. Everybody thinks of that as a bone moving type of profession, but really my chiropractic clinic is based in neurology. And I see some friendly faces out there, patients and things like that, and we're all
Can everybody hear?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes. The people in the back row are,
is that okay?
Okay.
All right,
Thank you.
I'll speak louder. So, also I have a diplomate in sports medicine through the Olympic Training Centers, and I work for the bobsleigh team and a lot of different, all of the teams that are in the Olympic Training Centers in Colorado and Lake Placid and Southern California. So, with that in mind, it's just not a really, people think of chiropractic, you're gonna get your neck snapped or your shoulder snapped, and but that's really not what we do. We work on function, and we work on range of motion, and we work on movement patterns. And when you understand movement, whether you're reaching for a rope to pull it and twist it, and there's a big wind coming, and you get jarred a little bit, you gotta work on, you gotta work on trunk stabilization. So trunk stabilization, so a lot of people actually think I'm more like a physical therapist than a chiropractor. But I want to get it across to you that if you do a couple of core and trunk stabilization exercises every day, what hangs off your trunk? Your hips and your shoulders. All the exercises you get are based on how to activate your diaphragm into your core and then into your hips, and then you use your shoulders and your neck. So most pain can be mediated just by understanding that flow of muscle activation, that cognitive muscle stabilization. You know, when you begin to activate your core, you do it with your breath. So if you're doing yoga, you understand that yoga is the union of your breath and your body. So, but that's really how we begin movement, is through our diaphragm. And the diaphragm is connected to your central nervous system. So that's why I say the central nervous system is how I end up diagnosing like why your shoulder's not working or why your hip isn't working. And breathing exercises are a very good component to one is to calming down your pain pattern and to reestablish a better movement pattern.
Yeah.
So we can even do a weight bearing. So I'll use a muscle test to get into the central nervous system and push up here. So that's cognitive behaviors, looking for problems in her movement pattern. And push up with your arm, so that works pretty well. Look to the right and push up. So the right side, it's not working so well. So look to the left, push up, and that side works. You can feel a difference. You can.
Yeah.
So breathe in, exhale, pull your belly in there. You got to look to the right now. The side that wasn't working, now push up. Did that stabilize it?
It did.
It did. So she needs trunk stabilization on the right side. Which is your bad leg? The right side. So that's what happens is the right leg is sending information into her brain. Thank you. The right leg is sending information into her brain that says, don't use that. Don't do that. So it's shutting this side off. So also and then her right hamstring is going to be tighter. Her right glute's going to be shut off. And what happens is she's limping. Yeah. And her weight bearing joint shifts over to which side works better.
The other side. Left side.
So if she's already leaning on the left side.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean so that's kind of how we start. So also and then her right hamstring is going to be tighter. Her right glute's going to be shut off. And what happens is she's limping. Yeah. And her weight bearing joint shifts over to which side works better.
The other side. Left side.
So if she's already leaning on the left side.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean so that's kind of how we start with things. And everybody should be on some type of movement pattern rehab. That it's not complicated, or what do sailors have? Sailors' knee?
I have back, low back issues. My back.
It's really bad most of us sail, and there's a lot of bad posture. You're like
Hunched over.
You're scrunched over,
Or you're
and then you're looking up at the tail, like this, and then you're like this.
That's exactly all sorts of weird stuff.
All right, so sailing encompasses everything. Every fault that we can possibly have.
Yeah,
Physically.
You watch us crawl out of the boats on the dock to stand up.
Okay, I see
It's
that.
tough on the thighs, and
Tough
when
on
you
the
first stand up, the low back tends to be a killer too.
Okay, so I wouldn't call that runner's knee or tennis elbow or golfer's elbow.
Sailor's
But,
back.
posturally, that's even more important because that's a systemic, that's your whole body working together. How do you recreate your body working together?
You have a question over here from Pam.
The trunk stabilization we talked about, how long does it typically take a person to learn how to be breathing properly to then move the different parts of your body?
Well, how long? Well,
Can I write here Pam's question?
her question was, how long does it take you to learn how to get a better breathing pattern? And so that you can become more efficient in your movement patterns. Depending on how coordinated you are, because there's a very small part of your brain, neurological component to the breath is, it's very small, but it controls this whole thing. So with that in mind, you have to, could it take a week, 2 weeks, a month? I think it's something that you have to continually work at. But the more you do it, the better your balance is going to be. If you did it really regular for a couple months, you would notice all the other postural, maladies would begin to unravel a little bit. You'd be standing straighter, your ears would be over your shoulders would be over your hips, and people wouldn't be so,
Yeah.
Bent over.
yeah.